Welcome back to another one. We got a trade for section. Oh, yeah, Scatty. Do you
You mean
like this?
trade high?
Huh?
You mean sell high?
Yeah, we're trading away. We're trading away, bro. We don't want these players anymore because we're trying to trade them at their max value, son.
You said trade. You said trade four. Get it right next time.
Did I say
Otherwise,
trade
I'm
for?
done with the pod. Yeah.
Do something
Everyone, go
about it,
back.
pussy.
If he
Do
said
something
trade
about it,
four, I
pussy.
wanna
Do
I
something
want
about
an
it,
L in the
pussy.
comments. L in the comments if he said trade four right now.
All in the comments, dude. Okay, you fucking pussy. Get out of here. Week 5. This is a 12-team PPR league. We're dialing it in. Drop comments below if you need help. If you need help trying to figure out who the hell you're
No.
going to start this week. If you need help trying to figure out who you're going to trade. If you need help figuring out how you're going to try to get some broad at a bar, I can give you some help, but you're probably going to end up with a dude. So, yeah, figure it out, and let's get dialed in, baby. Guess what? You know what my first one is? My first one is this week. It is Mr. King Henry. Trade high on
Ooh.
Mr. King Henry because you know why. He is in
Can
a
you trade high?
timeshare. Huh?
Can you trade high on him?
Bro, he had a 25-point game this week. Did you not see that? He was dialing in. King Henry looked like the big Yeti. Hell yeah. And guess
Did you
what?
not see the first 3 weeks?
Huh?
Did you not see the first 3 weeks?
Okay, let's look at the first 3 weeks. Fucking back.
Okay, yeah. Let's look at the first 3 weeks.
King Henry is consistently position ranked number 11 as a running back.
Ooh.
He had a 13.9, which is decent, and then he had an 18.5, which is pretty.
That's good.
That's good enough
That's
from that
decent.
running back.
That's
He
good
had
for
a
him.
two, huh?
13.9 is not good enough for Derrick Henry.
It's mediocre, and then 18.5. That's good enough for him. He had a
Yeah,
2, and then now he just had one where he had 22 carries, 122 rushing yards, and then he had a tutty, and then I think he had a passing tutty if I remember right. So if I was you, I would trade high on Derrick Henry because people are going to still believe in the brand name. They got to saw that he got a good bit of points last week, and that maybe he is actually back into this now because a lot of people are not studying and seeing that Mr. Spears is slowly taking over this backfield. And when they're in negative game scripts, Spears is on the field, Henry is on the sidelines. This weekend was a very rare occurrence for Tennessee, and they were up on the Bengals, which they're never up on anybody. Bengals are just absolute trash this year. So that's why I want to trade high on Mr. Henry for whatever I can get for him, considering his brand name and that he just put up 25 points. So that is why I'm saying trade high. Now, I'm not saying trade him for a bag of chips. I'm saying try to see what you can get for him. And I think you'd be able to get a little bit. You might be able to get some players for Mr.
Yeah.
King Henry.
I think I'm only trading him if it's like a really good deal, and I'm getting a really caliber player. But I think I'd probably hold on to Derrick Henry. I don't know.
All right,
That's just me.
Tell me yours, baby.
Tell me yours. Okay. I think we both talked before the pod. We both agreed. Just fucking sell like hotcakes the entire Bears offense. Just get rid of them all. If you have a Bears player, offensive player on your team, please get rid of them right now. They are frauds who looked good last week, but they will not look good the rest of the year. Denver Broncos defense is Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And you need to get rid of Fields. You need to get rid of Herbert if you have him. You need to get rid of DJ Moore while you can. He had a really good game last week. That is not going to happen again this year.
Yeah.
You need to sell these players high. Fucking please get rid of them right now.
Now, are you willing to also try to shop them around and people aren't gonna believe in it, still kind of get a little bit lower offer, but still trade them?
Potentially. I mean, in my work league, I made a trade. I got Terry McLaurin and Chris Olave for DJ Moore and Brian Robinson. Last week, I made the trade. And this week, I'm kind of kicking myself because he did go off, but I think in the long run, it'll be the better trade because Olave has that ability to pop off. And McLaurin popped off last week, too. So
Yeah, he's going against that Philly D, baby, who can't stop a damn pass. But,
yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, just the whole Chicago organization ship them bags off in a damn package and put them in UPS. Don't put them in FedEx. Put them in UPS.
You need to get rid of them right now. Why you still can, too. DJ Moore is not – I mean, he's good. He should be really good, but Justin Fields is sucking ass this year.
Yeah,
And Herbert's Herbert. It's just that whole entire offense, they cannot find a way to win. So
Well, the main reason too is you look at Fields. So last week he had over 300 passing yards, which he's never been able to do in his career. I think he only had like 20 some rushing yards, and that's what Fields is known for is rushing. That's his
yeah,
upside. That's how he gets
yeah,
all these
yeah, yeah.
points. So, are you really expecting him to do that same thing again? I'm not sure. You might get one or two more games out of him, but why not find that owner who had him last year when he was on that tear and see if he believes in him right now? Because I bet he's got a twinkle in his eye right now. So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. My other person to trade away right now is Mr. Madison. I do not believe in Madison for the Vikings. Currently, Cam Akers is coming into the backfield, and he has already started to slowly take over this backfield. Last week, he was, his first initial game on the field, and I think he had 9 carries, 40 yards. He looked 10 times better than Madison did out there. Madison still had a decent week rushing, but only putting up 10 fantasy points, and I believe a lot of people are still going to believe that he is the RB1 on this team until elsewise, but the coaches even came out talking about how he doesn't like how much fumbling is going on with the Vikings. Now, Madison did not fumble this game, but previous games it's been an issue for him. So I really think that they made a move for Cam Akers, not only to better their backfield, but possibly end up taking over at some point. So I think Madison was more of a situation, everyone drafted him because nobody was in this backfield. That was why people were picking him up. I mean, you look at Dalvin Cook last year in that backfield who was kind of washed, and Madison wasn't really even able to get on the field. So I think Madison is someone you can trade high for while he still has the RB1 in the backfield status, and just kind of watch that diminish while you reap the benefits from that trade.
Yeah, that's a good point. My last one I have is I have him in my work league, and I'm just fed up. And I want to ask you a question too regarding this because I do have a question, but let me
Ask
go
me. I'm
into my
not going to
spiel a
answer
little
it.
bit first. Oh, is that right? You're going to answer this right now because I said so.
Or else just get to it. Just get to it before you say some crazy shit.
All
You
right,
lost it.
That's Jamar Chase. I have him in a work league, and
Yeah.
Jamar Chase has not been producing this year, and that Bengals offense is looking pretty not how we're used to seeing them, especially with
Well,
Joe
yeah.
Burrow. He's really struggling this year. And Jamar Chase, he's had decent production. I want to say decent with the asterisk being the number 3, number 2, sometimes the number 1 overall pick, maybe number 4. He's not been living up to where he should be producing. He needs
Yeah.
to be getting Justin Jefferson numbers. He needs to be getting like Stephon Diggs numbers. He needs to be getting AJ Brown numbers the last 2 weeks. We have not seen a game like that from him as of yet. So the question I want to ask you is, who do you think you could pick up for him? Who do you think you could trade for if you offered like maybe just Jamar Chase straight up 1-for-1,
Jamar Chase, straight up for 1.
or maybe like a 1-for-2, or 2-for-2? I don't know.
Man. If I had Jamar Chase, who would I want that I could pick up? I mean, you think you could maybe get Adams?
Maybe.
Maybe I would still try to get a wide receiver, get someone who try to believes and who thinks, because you want to get someone who you think is like a
Well,
tier
Adams had a
below.
bad week this week, right? Or am I tripping?
He had an okay week. He got injured at some point, so he just kind of died off.
That might
He only
be
had
that
yeah.
might be a decent trade if they
think-
think he's going to be injured or something. I don't know.
I think Adams, you could do something for. You might be able to package something with Chase to get Tyreek Hill, possibly. He had a down week this week. I mean, yeah, I would try to get some kind of wide receiver. I mean, you might be able to get AJ Brown plus for Chase. So I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to fit for your team. But I'm so up in the air with Chase. I don't know whether to hold him, to buy him, or to sell him
Yeah,
because
that's tough.
and the reason why it's so up in the air and what I'm trying to tell y'all is because it really depends on your team. If you're a 1-3 team, 0-4 team, I would try to move him to get some kind of value that's going to help you right now. Because next week, Chase is not going to help you. The following week, he might not even help you. And I believe their upcoming schedule is getting brutal. So, and possibly too, Joe Burrow could get benched at some point. Not benched because he's bad, but benched as in we got to let him rest up because he's kind of just. I feel like he's just re-aggravating the injury every week and just he's playing, but it's just not getting better. So I could see that possibly him getting benched just strictly to get him healthier. And I also got a feeling I think Cincinnati's going to miss playoffs this year. So it's really just not looking great for the Bengals. T. Higgins is going to be down for a couple of weeks with that rib injury, so you would think Jamar Chase goes up. But even you said his production was decent. I mean, it's really been very mediocre. The only time he really popped off was because he had hella targets and they were throwing to him behind the line of scrimmage. It was very uncharacteristic, but they were just trying to give him the ball because that's what you do when your best players and when you're playing like shit. Just give it to your best player. So. I agree. You could sell Chase, but it really just depends on your team. If you're 4-0 somehow and you had Chase, just keep him. But if you're kind of struggling, you need some help. I'd ship him off because when he starts helping, it's probably going to be too late for your team. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
and
What's
then
your other one?
mine's a similar situation. So well, it's not similar, but I'm trading high on Puka. And the reason why I'm trading high on Puka is because I believe that he's at his all-time ceiling right now. I don't know if he can get any better than what he's doing right now from putting 30 bombs and 20-plus bombs up a lot. And right now, currently in the midst of everything is Cooper Kupp. Everyone's talking about he might make this Philly game, but I really don't think so. Even if he does, it'll be a pitch count. I think if anything, he'll be back possibly I'm just going to say week 7 on record, I think is when he will be back because this injury it's not only a hamstring, but he's older and he's not really dealt good with injuries like this. So Sean McVay's trying to really just work him in and make sure. Because, he is the Triple Crown king, man. Cooper Kupp, when he is playing fantasy football, is the number one player. Right now, McCaffrey's on a tear, but if Cooper Kupp is completely healthy, you saw what Puka did as a rookie right now. Just imagine if that was Cooper Kupp. He would be feasting right now.
Yeah.
So, the reason why I say for Puka, depending on your team, I'm assuming you got him because you lost week 1, so I know you already have one loss, and trying to figure out exactly where to do with him. It's more of just me. I want to sell him super high before I figure out what's going to happen with Cooper Kupp, and I know that I can get really good value out of Puka because he is super high, and I think a lot of people are similar to you, and they believe I think he's still going to be that when Cooper Kupp comes. I don't think that's going to change, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not happen. I don't know. I think Puka's still going to get his, but I don't think it's to the point of what it is right now. I think it's a very similar situation for Keenan Allen of last week. You're trading a player who's still going to be good, but they're not going to be this good all season, I don't think. So I'm just trying to better my team, get them a little bit better, and try to maybe build up, maybe even try to package it to go for our top player. That's what I like to do usually with players like this is someone super high, add another piece, and then try to get like do a 2-for-1 deal with somebody depending on who you're trying to get. So
Yeah, I could see that too, but I don't know. I would probably keep Puka. It's the same sort of deal like you said with who was the first one you said that I said to keep?
Henry.
Henry, yeah. I think
Henry.
it's the same sort of situation with him. I think he could be in line for some more big weeks, especially if Cooper Kupp does come back. Cooper Kupp will take some defenders and maybe open up the middle of the field for Puka and that big play potential. So, yeah, I don't know. I think you hold on to him, and that's me personally, and go from there and see. Because you have to think, too, new wide receivers in the league, people have never really heard of, they don't know his weaknesses yet. And that's the time when they're going to be getting points on points on points. So,
Yeah.
you can look at it from that end, too. But I also understand your point from what you just said. So, I don't know. It's up to you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not trading them for a bag of chips. It's got to be a good trade. I'm not
Yeah.
just sending them just to send them.
I don't think
These
you
are
can go
good
wrong
trades.
either way.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think whatever you decide to do will be the right decision.
Yeah, and let us know what y'all think in the comments below on just our whole analyzing and everything. I feel like a lot of people, when they do trade away targets, it's kind of more similar, like they think bad things are going to happen to them and stuff, which we do add some of those in, but I think Puka is someone who will still finish at the top, but we're trying to really sell people at the max. It's like when stocks, you don't try to keep figuring out the peak of where that stock's going to go, You want to try to find, okay, I'm okay with settling here because, they're going on a tear, but I can flip it and make my cash right now because I'm already in the net positive right now. So it's similar with fantasy. I feel like that's the way I play it is I try to figure out, instead of trying to ride and figure out where that peak is or, if there is some questions coming up, let's just take my money while I got it and just try to make it even more. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of my mood. And, we're going to sign off here, baby. This has been Rethink Reality. This is week 5, trade away targets. I almost said 4 again. God, I need some sleep, Scotty. We're out here grinding too much trying to get the people info, baby. Come on now.
Thanks.
Tap in, dial in, give us subscribe, or just get a hate comment. We don't care. Fucking give us
Yeah.
something, baby.
Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Y'all take care. See y'all in the next one.
Peace.